And we are live once again, and now back again at the hills, the heights of Laguna Seca. I'm back as well, and we are in the IORA Indycar Series live on Fireball Talks NASCAR, the slow broadcasting network. And unfortunately, I am alone tonight, back from New York City and the New York Automotive Show. An amazing experience. A few simulators there, but not the sim racing I am used to. And I'm back on my own turf in iRacing, and it's great to be here following alongside with Mason Moriarty, fourth on the charts. He is just under 2 seconds behind the leader of Ethan Stanley when it comes to the timing sheets. And I gotta say, being back here again for I believe the third time when it comes to the 3 Series IORA host at the moment, it is a familiar face and a familiar place when it comes to all the drivers. And you can see that Mason Moriarty goes for a spin there. Braden Movick has joined the session as he was not there when I began the stream. Slowing down right now on the onboard view, and you can see his hands there. The work is certainly on. No power steering in these IndyCar machines in real life, but I'm certain the drivers might not feel that effect in full force on their iRacing simulator. There's a lot of different equipment used here, but a lot of very, very good drivers. And right now, the one leading the pack in this practice session is Ethan Stanley, the shades of Takuma Sato machine with the Nerdtech OTD sponsorship right now. You can see him working his way through again. Fastest lap is a 107.990. Let's see what we can do this time by on board with the number 91 machine. And turning on the telemetry, you can see currently P1 does not show where he started because this is not a qualifying or race session, so it would not make sense to show that. He is already working through the turns, a little slower than the Formula One machines are, but he's very good in those machines, so he's bound to be pretty good in open wheel material. The points leader, who is Chase Schaefer, not in this event, so that's going to lead the drivers who were in that last event, including even Stanley James Jones and Michael Cormes, first, second, and third in the points right now, have a pretty good shot at obtaining that points lead. Of course, Ethan Stanley made a start and park attempt at Gateway in Madison, I believe, Iowa last time by Madison, Ohio. Correct me if I am wrong, but you can see in California right now, he's working it to the fullest extent, getting up to 140 right there, hard braking into first gear right now, hitting the curves, and he is on his way for yet another lap in that beautiful Rick Ware-esque machine, and that's another lap done for the number 91. That's going to be 109.261. A little off his best, but still a pretty good lap. And now we're going to focus on another driver, Ethan Yawn, making his return again. Looks like he just took a pretty big hit right there on those optional tires. 2 sets of tires. These drivers can take the primaries, which are the black compound tires, and the optionals with the reds on them. And it looks like every driver is on the reds at the moment. Braden Movick has joined the party, 5th place in the Geico 500, hosted by IDK Player. Last night I was in that event myself. Did not go the greatest for me. Admittedly got in a lot of trouble early on, but it's not about me tonight. It's about all these drivers. And Braden Movick sure to make a statement in his series debut in the IORA Indycar Series, rocking the Tango Paints purple paint scheme. And right now he is 2.7 seconds off of the leader, Ethan Stanley, at the moment. We've got 8 drivers in the field. Of course, a few might show up later. Not sure about that at the moment. Unfortunately, Throttle, who does drive in these series, not here tonight, but he did help me out in getting into this session. He is, compared to me, far more experienced with the IndyCar machines on iRacing. That is the reason I am here tonight. Another lap concludes for Braden Movick. That's going to make him 5th on the chart still, but very close to the lap time set by Mason Moriarty. And it looks like we have almost every single car on the track right now. The only one who is not is Dudes Castro Neves, the nephew of 4-time Indy 500 winner Helio Castro Neves, rocking a really great throwback right now. And it's a great design, and it's throwing it back to a driver who was in the IndyCar scene in the late 90s, and that would be bring it up right now, trying to get the information about this scheme. Not want to get the driver name messed up, and it was a tribute to Greg Moore, who died in 1999, unfortunately, in a race, and a tragic loss for the IndyCar scene. He was bound to be a great driver, and now we see the Castro Neves rocking the throwback It looks really good on his IORA 18 machine, throwing it back to Ethan Stanley now. You can see slowing it down, waiting for his hot lap, which is going to be, I believe, the next time by. James Thurston second in, I believe, the point standings. Actually, yes, in the point standings following last event in his Haas F1 machine. Not showing up right now because he is in the pits. The Red Bull machine and Michael Cormenis back again. Had a very good outing at Gateway. Not able to seal the deal, though. So that's going to leave him with a lot of points to make up because he did wreck out of that event. And Daniel Mosteller has joined the party in the number 87 machine. Mason Moriarty out for another run. 2 minutes and 47 seconds remaining in this session. You can see very slow through the pit entry. Left front tire gets a little locked up, but he's on his way to work. This Dallara machine, I was going to say Red Bull, but the Red Bull is chasing him right now, and you can see the Terry Labonte-esque scheme actually just in front of him. He passes by it. He's on his way for yet another lap. Michael Cormenis just behind, and Moriarty, he's just under 2 seconds behind the leader. As I had stated beforehand, he's trying to make something work as a lot of drivers within this 2-second window, 5 of which at the moment it looks like gets in the gravel just a bit. Not a great out lap, but it doesn't matter. The hot lap is what really matters, and he's got to make sure he's perfect through there. Michael Cormenis gaining big time, so it looks like he's having a pretty good lap. I believe he has already gone through his out lap, so he's catching up to Moriarty, who's not on a hot lap, and they're almost nose to tail there. Moriarty forced off with his Kempton excavating machine right there, but he's not going to let Michael Cormenis take his ground on his way to his first hot lap. We have 3 cars in the gaggle right now, as both of these cars are catching up to the 42 of Braden Mullick as I speak, and 1 minute and 28 seconds remain on this practice session. Michael Cormenis not able to improve on that lap. It looks like Mason Moriarty gets in the gravel just a bit there. This is shaping up to be a pretty interesting battle. Braden Mullick on the gravel himself slows down big time, and Moriarty and Cormenis both make the move. It's pretty exciting, and it's not even the qualifying session. We are still in practice. Less than a minute remaining when these drivers conclude this turn. We don't have much left of this session. Time to get the hot laps in. Time to show everyone what you're made of. And this 3-car gaggle, having a lot of fun broadcasting it, and it's pretty intense, even if it is not yet the race itself. Braden Mullick going to go back on the inside, and so is Michael Cormenis. He's going to make it work there. Really good pass there. Mason Moriarty forced to give. And he's not going to be able to catch up, I don't think, for the remainder of this session. Michael Cormenis trying to keep up with Braden Mullick right now, going into the heavy braking section, the hairpin leading up to the long main straightaway. A little bit of a wiggle there, but he keeps it going. How about that for the number 4 machine right now, trying to get some experience on this very tricky track. And now it looks like practice is going to be concluding. This lap will not be concluded by the drivers we are focusing on. And it's going to go Stanley, Thurston, Cormenis, Moriarty, Mullick, Castro, Neves, Yawn, and that is Joaquin Stewart. We have not covered yet, and Daniel Mosteller not able to set a lap in this session. Practice is concluded. We're on our way to qualifying in Laguna Seca. You can see there, dudes, Castro Neves going by your screen. We're on our way. Pretty intense session, I believe, as all 9 drivers are ready to take up the challenge of Laguna Seca. Let's see who gets out first. It's going to be Joaquin Stewart. Going to focus on that number 79 machine right now. And you can see the Terry Labonte style paint scheme. Got milk on the side of the car and throwing it back to Tony the Tiger himself in that orange and blue machine. We can do a little slow there through the gravel. Not going to be a quick exit. Dudes Castro Neves coming out himself. Going through the very slow turn here. Does not want to lock up the tires. And it looks like he does not do so. Ethan Stanley always in the gravel, pretty big there. No damage to the car. He's going to have to keep on going. And Ethan Yawn, we're going to go to right now. He spins it into the gravel. He's going to reset the car entirely. Mason Moriarty not facing that issue. He's pretty far through his lap compared to the other drivers we have focused on. And he's coming to the corkscrew right now, the most challenging bit of this track. Now, iRacing was developed in the period between Papyrus' shutdown and 2008. And in the time being, they had a car in the SCCA that was sponsored by them that raced at Laguna Seca. and that's where they got some experience with how the car should feel. I believe it was a Volkswagen Jetta or a Pontiac Solstice, both cars on the service. And AJ Allmendinger spoke of iRacing very early into its testing around 2007, saying that learning the corkscrew was pivotal to him getting a good lap through, and he said that iRacing, it feels exactly the same, and these drivers are going to take the same challenges through and through. Mason Moriarty on to his first of 2 laps in this 10-minute qualifying session. Let's see what he can do with this effort. Looks like he has a pretty clean lap going thus far. Good stuff there from the Kempton Excavating Machine. A very nice paint scheme right there. Was not in the last event, trying to make up some ground at the moment on the drivers in front of him in the points standings. It looks like we have 4 concurrent viewers watching right now. I appreciate the support thoroughly. 3 likes on the stream. And if you like the action you are seeing on your screen, be sure to like and subscribe. It is always thoroughly appreciated on the Fireball Talks NASCAR channel, whether we are doing videos covering the world of motorsports or live streams for the people here at IORA. A great league with a lot of great drivers that are going on board with Mason Moriarty right now through the tricky left-right section, coming to the hairpin right now. And let's see what Moriarty's going to get coming to the line. Oh, he locks it up big. He's going to save it. And he's going to have to go on to the next lap with pretty scuffed tires after that incident. And it looks like top of the charts is going to be Moriarty with a 110.490. Ethan Stanley going to surmount that by 2 seconds. That's a 108.94. That's actually 1.5 seconds. How about that, though? He might not even need a second lap, but of course he's going to go for it, pushing his car to limits. It's Stanley, then Moriarty. Let's see who gets to the second lap. Third, nobody at the moment. It looks like Michael Cormetis is coming up on his first lap, just behind Ethan Stanley. You could get them in the same camera shot, even though they are not at all on the same lap. Castro Neva's going to go third at the moment. 2 seconds down on Ethan Stanley. Then Joaquin Stewart, 2.79 seconds down on the number 91 machine, leading the way. So far, James Thurston not setting a lap yet. He's on his out lap at the moment. Ethan Yawn going to take a 1:11. That's going to send him all the way back to 4th on the charts, passing Stewart, but still a ways to go for the number 72 machine. Does not race with the IORA boys often anymore, but it's great to see him back out on track. The Yawner, as he is known on Twitter. Another driver going to take to their second lap soon. It's going to be Michael Cormetis coming off the final turn. He got a really good run done last week. Let's see what we can do here. And that is going to be nothing on the charts. It looks like the lap was invalidated for the number 4 machine. Ethan Stanley done and done with a 108.226. And Mason Moriarty done with a 109.690. Dudes, Castro Neva's done with a 111.326, it looks like. And that's going to end his run. Ethan Yawn, 4th. At the moment, nobody is showing up on the screen right now. Does not look like anyone is on the track. We're trying to find out what is going on, but you can see that James Thurston is one of the few left on track. Michael Cormetis trying to make his second lap count. Castro Neves going through the final few turns for his lap. You see that Ethan Yawn has done the same. Yawn third on the board, just under 3 seconds behind the leader of Ethan Stanley. It looks like Castro Neves struggling just a bit there. You saw him on the gravel as James Thurston coming around through the left-hander and the right-hander section. And oh, that's big! And he's pounding the wall. And he's only getting one more lap, actually. That's not good for his effort on the pole. And Michael Cormetis third on the charts. 1.5 seconds back on Ethan Stanley. Destroys the car there. And all for naught. As James Thurston going around one last time. Castro Neves looks like he just looped it around himself. Not going to improve this time by. That is 5th on the board. Braden Movick has pitted it. Parked it, actually. He is on pit road and chooses not to move at the moment. Daniel Mosteller looks like he might have just connected for the sake of points. And might not race with us tonight. Too early to call. We've not seen him on the track for any of these sessions. At the moment, 4 minutes remain. And you can see that James Thurston is going around right now trying to make something happen for this number 96 machine, warming up the tires through his outlap. He had a really good run as well last week by. Let's see what we do this time by. He is back on the track, trying to make something happen, going through the corkscrew again. And And as you can see, just a few turns remaining for number 96 machine, Ethan Yawn, taking laps after his qualifying effort has ended. He's on to his 4th right now. And he is moving right at the moment alongside James Thurston, going through the hairpin, and it is go time for the final time for James Thurston, who seems to be the only driver left on track. Actually, Braden Movick is as well, but we're sending it back to the number 96 machine, trying to go for the pole right now. And telemetry for the final runner from the original batch of racers last week at Gateway. 109, 120, going up quickly, going very slow in the corners compared to the Formula One machines. A little bit of gravel there, not going to slow him down all that much. Gotta be very careful with this car, trying to keep it on the limit, but only just. Gets up to 160 miles an hour there, brakes it heavy. He's under 100 going through that turn, and coming up to the corkscrew, it's going to be big momentum, carrying the number 96 all the way up in that Haas F1 inspired machine. Corkscrew time now. It is make or break for this run. Let's see what he does. Gets it very good, both sides there on the corkscrew. This might be a good lap, depending on how Ethan Stanley came through the final sectors, and depending on how James Thurston is going to do it. Is he going to do it better, or is he going to do it worse? We will see. Final turn coming around this time by. Braden Movick's first lap did not go well. It's going to be invalidated, and James Thurston coming to the line. 3rd on the charts. Actually, 2nd now. Less than a second away from Ethan Stanley's time. How about that? We're checking back on Braden Movick at the moment, who's coming around for the final time himself. Big wiggle there. I'm not sure he's going to get a good lap after that little wiggle. Let's see if that throws off his momentum going through the corkscrew this time by. Yup, it's over. And that's going to be 8th place on the charts for Braden Movick. And now I think it is time to bring in our pole sitter for tonight's event. Ethan Stanley, how you feeling after throwing off a great lap in this qualifying session?
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to be on pole and to be up there, almost a second ahead. But don't want to sound too full of myself. But I'm also a little bit disappointed with my lap. Definitely had a lot more pace. Just having a really hard time on tire warm up. Track's very cold when it comes to iRacing settings.
But that in opposition to how the Formula One race was earlier this week. Now you say tires, and I'm wondering, are the drivers going to go on the primary tires? Because from my end, every driver is on the optionals with the red lettering around the tires. Or is that just the way it is?
I mean, from my personal experience, the reds definitely are. Of course, they have a lot more pace in them, but they tend to really fall off a cliff after about 10 laps. So we'll see how people choose. Some people might gamble and just try to run the reds for long and hope for a caution, which definitely is a possibility. But I'm thinking the primaries should be able to go all the way until you need to pit.
Certainly, so there is going to be some tire strategy in this race, and the race is going to be starting soon. So our pole sitter by nearly a second, as you mentioned, Ethan Stanley, we thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
And back into the booth right now, we're going to be showing you the starting grid for today's event. And here it goes. Ethan Stanley starting alongside James Thurston, P1 and P2. These guys have been fighting in the Formula One series, and now they're going to do battle once more. Mason Moriarty 3rd and Michael Cormetis 4th on the charts, both under the 110 mark. And it's going to be Ethan Yawn and Dudes Castro Neves at the moment, 5th and 6th, and Joaquin Stewart and Braden Movick on the 4th row. Then Daniel Mostello last on the charts in 9th position. And we can hear some chatter from the drivers at the moment. Have not disabled that, and we're going to take a quick intermission to do so now that the drivers have hit the grid. We got a great field of racers tonight. We just want to make sure that if something is said that is not appropriate for the audiences, the general audiences, because this is for all ages to hear, that it will not be aired on the live feed for the sake of the broadcasting network and, of course, for the sake of the drivers. All the drivers now, it looks like they are gridded when it comes to the top 5. And I think we're going to be getting going very soon. You could see a lot of Formula One inspired machines as well as a lot of IndyCar inspired machines, led by an Indy inspired machine in that Weathertech paint scheme. And then on the outside front row, it's going to be the Haas F1 inspired design. On that, the Lara IR18, manned by James Thurston. A lot of throwbacks, a lot of throw forwards of sorts. It's going to be a fun one to watch. It looks like it has not been displaced again. We're going to go for a quick intermission. Not all the drivers have hit the grid again. We just want to make sure that if anything is aired that is inappropriate for viewing, it will not be heard. There we go. We have done just that. Apologies for the second intermission, but it will not happen again as there is no reason to. All the drivers have gotten gridded up. We're going to be getting ready for some great racing. It's going to be, it looks like a standing start. The lights are off on my keyboard, which means we are going to be going green from Weathertech Raceway Laguna Seca right now. Green flag with Ethan Stanley ahead. And you can see right now Ethan Stanley gets a marvelous start, and the voice chat has been disabled from the drivers, so there will be no interruption of this commentary. And look at that, Ethan Stanley followed by James Thurston, Mason Moriarty, Ethan Yawn, Michael Cormetis, Joaquin Stewart, Braden Movick, Daniel Mosteller, who has joined the race in the Alpine inspired machine, and now Dudes Castro Neves falling to the back of the field. Ethan Stanley leading it from the start of the race, of course, to now just halfway through the first lap, and Ethan Yawn falling big. Looks like we just had an incident. We have an instant replay on the matter. Oh, I've done that in Dallara Dash myself. That is a hard hit. The car just gets away from you in that turn if you push it just a little too hard. And Alex Anderson has just joined the fray, and it looks like he's leading the race. That doesn't make sense, but it means that he has joined the session. We have 10 cars filling out this session. Ethan Yawn already in the pits. Not good for him. And Alex Anderson going to be the last car on the lead lap. Almost an entire lap down. It looks like he's knocking some cones off while he's at it. How about that? And his front wing is not entirely gone, but we just saw, oh no, half of his front wing already gone, and he just started his own race. Ethan Stanley leading the charts though, and James Thurston just behind him with Mason Moriarty rounding out the podium. Then Braden Movick up into fourth. Really good recovery from that terrible qualifying session. Then Michael Cormetis. Then it's going to be Demos and Dudes Castro Neves. They're almost wheel to wheel there. Let's go on board with the number 34 machine, throwing it back to Greg Moore. It looks like Demos is going to go wide just there. And you can see that number 87 throwing it into the paint scheme of Esteban Ocon and IndyCar driver himself, 8500 attempt maker of Fernando Alonso. So Helio Castroneves and Alonso had raced. Of course, Dudes Castroneves, the nephew of Helio Castroneves. So a little bit of racing running in the family in this case. It looks like Demos is running away himself, going into the corkscrew right now. And the battle ridge is on for first. It looks like Ethan Stanley getting away, trying to get used to those primary tires. As you can see, some drivers on the optional, such as Braden Movick. And look at that, there's a difference in the tire color. He's on the red walled tires right there, and you can see that the entirely black machines are on Mason Moriarty. Those Firestone tires holding up pretty well for all these drivers so far. Only Alex Anderson a lap down. It looks like Ethan Yawn might be out of this event. Joaquin Stewart as well. We're getting an instant replay on the matter. Oh no, it was into the corkscrew, and that is not good. And he just sent it in there, and that is it. Not good at all, and that's going to be the end of his event. At the moment, no caution. Oh, I don't think they're going to stop it. And you can see Ethan Stanley still leading away, now doubling his gap on James Thurston from 9/10 to 1.8. He is really pulling it away. Closest gap at the moment is between Braden Movick and Mason Moriarty. And the closest battle on the track wages on. It is for the podium position. As all these drivers are getting to grips with their machinery. We have three drivers, at least a lap down: Joaquin Stewart, Ethan Yawn, and Alex Anderson. Anderson joined the race a little late, so it figures that he is a lap down. But Ethan Yawn, he had an incident, and Joaquin Stewart seems to be out of this event already. Unfortunate, but the 10-car field has filled the first section of this ticker, and you can see that Braden Movick trying to go for Mason Moriarty at the moment. He's getting closer and closer each turn by, just has to turn it in ever so slightly. He's really making a good move at the moment from 8th on the grid to 3rd right now. And in the corkscrew, this is pivotal for a good lap. Mason Moriarty, it looks like he doesn't get a good entrance, but gets a much better exit, or does he? He just lets Braden Movick by, and that was for the podium position of 3rd on the racetrack, and gaps are pretty wide on the racetrack, and Demos goes for a spin, or does he? He saves it. That's pretty incredible right there from the 87 Alpine machine. And a good save there, dirt tracking it, some might say, but it was all in the gravel for the number 87, and now Michael Cormetis. You can see he is in the top 5 at the moment. Fastest lap of the race so far, it looks to be by Daniel Mosteller in the 109.9 category, but that doesn't really make sense, and no it isn't. It's actually Ethan Stanley with a 109.4, but really Demos has the pace to be a little closer to the drivers in front of him, including Michael Cormetis, and Mason Moriarty goes off again. Looks like we're going to have a battle for 4th with 3 cars involved. It's going to be Moriarty, then Cormetis, then Demos, and Demos is laying all the pressure with very quick lap times on those optional tires. And you can see that Moriarty falling down. His last lap was a 1:12. That's 2 seconds off the pace of the leader, Ethan Stanley. And going through the corkscrew once more, Moriarty. Oh, and it's Braden Movick around! And that's going to give Mason Moriarty his podium position back. Instant replay on the matter. And you can see going into the corkscrew just messes up the entry and gets it woed out, and no damage to that car. So if he had the pace he had before, he might be able to catch up. But right now, Daniel Mosteller up into the podium positions. We're going to watch the way he did so before cutting it back to the live feed as Mason Moriarty is falling back even further. And oh, he gets it woed out himself, and it's a double pass. That is pretty impressive for the number 87 machine, but that's going to send Mason Moriarty really far back. And the onboard camera doesn't catch it, but oh, he just gets sent into the gravel. And Cormetis is going to be fighting with Demos now, closer than Moriarty has a chance to. Now Moriarty sent back to 6th, and Braden Movick back into 5th. As Demos, really, the star of that battle, he went all the way up from 6th to 3rd. And Ethan Yawn has passed Alex Anderson on track, as Anderson bringing it in. Bringing it back to the action on the racetrack. Michael Cormetis is very close to Demos. He is just within a second. He's trying to lay the pressure down on the 87. He might have used his stuff up early. They are on different tires, as Cormetis is on the primaries compared to the optionals that he is sandwiched in between Daniel Mosteller and Braden Movick at the moment. Lap 7 of 30. These laps are ticking by quickly for all of these drivers. They're doing a very good job of keeping it on the track for the most part. The battles are intense in the mid-pack. And Ethan Yawn right now, he is a lap down, focusing on lap down cars for just a second. He's just in front of Alex Anderson when it comes to the scoring. And Joaquin Stewart out of the race entirely, as we can see drivers going through the corkscrew for just a second before sending it back to the automated cameras, because he has retired from this event. Michael Cormetis not able to make a charge. He's now past a second behind. The number 87 machine got to do a really good corkscrew to make anything happen. It was a very good entrance and exit there, but nothing is going to catch the number 87 right now. He is on the move, but Braden Movick is on the move himself. And wow, off track. He was really pushing it there onto the red. And it looks like he's going to send it into the gravel. And now Mason Moriarty's time to get back into the top 5. It looks like these two might be battling if Moriarty has a good enough run to get to the 42. And looking around, trying to find some close battles. Gaps are spreading, and James Thurston sees the gap on Ethan Stanley, widening further and further at the moment. Nothing he can do with the 91 at this moment. He's got to wait right now, lap 8 of 30. How about we go on board and crank it up with the number 96 machine. And we are back from the crank it up session. Just had to take a quick break there as we are seeing all these drivers pushing it to the limit. At the moment, Daniel Mosteller, he is still in third, far and away by 3.5 seconds or more now on Michael Cormetis as he's falling back further and further from the remainder of the field, and Braden Mulvick is as well. Mason Moriarty just a second behind the 42 Tango Pates machine, and he's clubbing in the gap. Slowly but surely, these two very aggressive drivers, they've raced with each other before. They raced with each other last night as well as myself, so I know that they're very willing to push the limits. We'll see what they can do with this racetrack. And you can see going through the trickiest portion of the track, almost a third through the race right now. Ethan Stanley has hit the 10-lap marker, and now we are officially a third of the way through. This battle for 5th heating up as Braden Mulvick. He's going to bring it in, and Mason Moriarty's going to spin it just in front. Oh my goodness. And it looks like pitting just might have been quicker than following the footsteps of Moriarty. He's now going to pass Mulvick, but wow. That's going to cost him a lot of time in the pit cycle eventually. He lost it on the slowest corner of the track, a very tricky corner, in spite of the lack of speed. That I cannot deny, but still not good for him as now Castro Neves is going to go by, and Braden Mulvick is going to hit the point. He's back on the racetrack, 7th position. Last car on the lead lap, 45 seconds behind the leader of Ethan Stanley. We got 6 concurrent viewers on the stream at the moment. I greatly appreciate the support as Braden Mulvick goes off. Oh no, this is going to cost him even more time than what Mason Moriarty gave to him. And wow, you see that he just lost it there. New tires, colder temperatures, and he's going to get a penalty due to the iRacing automated system. I hope it's going to be cleared for him, but now he's got to clean off the tires and get back to work. Oh, that's really not good for his chances in this race. We have not seen a caution yet, so it's really going to shuffle up his strategy as James Thurston leads the way over Ethan Stanley. Looks like he just pounced on him through the tire strategy. Was it a genuine pass? We're going to try to find out right now. We're setting it back to the instant replay machine. See what happened. It looks like it happened within the past minute. Going to cycle through, and yes, it was a mistake by Ethan Stanley. That's pretty rare to see, and you could see he just went off in the corkscrew, and that's going to make him really have to work for it on those older primary tires. And now the 96 leads the way. It's the battle of the Formula One and IndyCar cosplays, and it looks like Team Formula One is taking it to the point at the moment. And this lead battle is going to get harder and harder. Ethan Stanley has to really dig for it right now before the pit cycle. And you can see behind your leaders, it's going to be, it looks like Ethan Yawn. That is the correct case. And Alex Anderson as well. But it's Alex Anderson and Daniel Osteller following this battle for the lead very closely. And 0.6 of a second the difference between the top two. These two have bested one another in multiple scenarios, in multiple races, as well as multiple series. Of course, drivers who are very familiar with one another in the IORA League and in other disciplines of racing, as well as NR Night in America, where a lot of these drivers have cut their teeth, and they're going to do it once more. Very good road racers. And it looks like Ethan Stanley might have the edge on pace in spite of his spin, blowing him down almost halfway through this race. And they're acting like it's the last lap, that's for sure. Ethan Stanley not willing to conserve right now. And as I was saying beforehand, a lot of support on the stream. Last that I had checked, 6 concurrent viewers. and the support is thoroughly appreciated. We love to see it on this channel, and if you do enjoy the content, be sure to like, subscribe, the works. It is always appreciated on the Fireballs Hucks NASCAR YouTube channel as the battle for the lead is heating up. It looks like we have a yellow flag, a safety car, and it looks like Alex Anderson just destroyed his car once more. We're trying to see what happened. Oh, wow, look at that. The front wing just went off, and it was another corkscrew-based incident. Pow, flat into the tire barrier. Now we have a change of pace entirely, and James Thurston has the big advantage over the remainder of the field. And the iRacing pace truck is out, and we are using the iRacing platform for this event. Now, if you want to join the action on iRacing, we have a link in the description that will support the channel if you do register. And for the viewers who are listening, PR Hot Laps is 3 months for $5. That's PR-Hot Laps as a promo code used in association with that link, and you'll be able to join the action and join the racing here as the IORA Discord server is in the description. It's a very great way to join the fun on this service. Anyone can try it, and anyone can be good. As you can see, a lot of drivers varying in ages and varying in backgrounds. We got drivers related to IndyCar legends, and drivers just trying to make a name for themselves as a legend in the iRacing field. So you can see a vast majority of these drivers just here for one reason. They want to race, and Ethan Stanley and James Thurston certainly want to race, as Thurston leads the pack right now, and he's in the race room with Ethan Stanley, and I suppose they are talking it out with one another at the moment. Now this is a pivotal time for all the drivers in the lead pack, including, of course, Thurston and Stanley, but as well Mosteller, Cormetis, and Moriarty, even Castro Neves, as it's time for them to get a pit stop done. And Mavic might have just lost the most by pitting early. His tires are going to be a little more worn compared to the rest of the pack, but he's this far back now. He might not have anything to lose for him to pit once more and just try to get the new tires that all the remainder of the field is going to get right now. It's going to be the race on the pit road, and let's see who wins the race off. You can see Castro Neves, the last of the drivers to enter. Looks like he came in a little later, and Mavic has as well. The Greg Moore design and the Tangle Paints design, respectively, on those machines. And coming just past the start-finish line, it's 14 of 30 for these drivers. Ethan Stanley gets the best pit stall just in front of James Thurston. These two going to be almost done at the same time. Thurston's going to get out first, and Ethan Stanley just behind by car length. Then Daniel Mosteller, then Mason Moriarty, followed by Michael Cormanis, and it looks like Dudes Castro Neves as well. And it looks like Braden Mavic just got out in front. They're going to climb the hill right now, so Castro Neves is going to lose a spot to Mavic as Ethan Yawn trying to get his lap back. Looks like he blinks out. And Anderson, oh, Anderson wrecks again. Same scenario, different turn. And the driver that brought out the safety car in this caution has binned another front wing. How about that? And now we're going to bring it back to the focus top two drivers. And we're going to bring in James Thurston. You took the lead for Ethan Stanley in a little bit of a corkscrew error. You think you can hold it off for the remainder of the race?
I don't know. He was pretty fast. He caught back up to me. So, I mean, I'm just going to have to see if I can hold on to it, be consistent, and not mess up.
Right of that, got to be very consistent now. At the moment, it looks like aggression might have been the reason that Ethan Stanley went around. So is your goal to just save the car or to push all out? Or are you going to see how it goes and decide from there?
Well, I gotta make sure that I'm in the race at the end. As long as I'm there at the end, anything's possible.
Absolutely. You have to make sure you are there at the end. And you were there at Gateway last week, not able to make it at the end. You still have your faster pair. That is the case, but you certainly don't want to use it. Now, tire strategy has been in the books. Here in this event, we see drivers in the primary and see drivers in the optional. You think your primaries are going to work for you?
Yeah, I think that, I mean, if we get a caution late in the race, you're either going to want to stay out or go get the alternates. But for now, if it goes green, I think the primaries are the way to go.
Absolutely, and the thoughts from our leader right now in the Haas F1 inspired machine, James Thurston. We thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And we're going to bring in the driver in second position. Led for a very long portion of this race, more than a third, but spun it around in the corkscrew. Ethan Stanley, how you feeling right now following that pit stop?
I'm feeling pretty good. I just took a little bit too much, I was pushing really hard, just so I could build a gap. I mean, I was running pretty easy most of the beginning of the race, but I wanted to build a gap so I can do the overcut. But now that that's out of the window, I'm just going to try to push and get past Thurston.
Absolutely. So it looks like aggression is going to be the name of the game for the rest of your race?
I mean, once I get past him, who knows? We'll see how his pace holds up, and I'll adjust to that, I guess.
Absolutely. And you've been on his back bumper after that spin even, so it looks like you're going to be able to hold on, and you didn't have the greatest tires following that lockup. Do you think your primers are going to hold off? James Thurston said he thinks they will for him.
Oh, I definitely think I can make these go all the way, and I feel like I was pretty good with my tire and fuel conservation the first time. Fuel's out of the window, but I should definitely be able to keep these tires in the right temperatures and hopefully not spin it again.
Absolutely. Now, the thoughts from our second place driver right now. Great to hear it. And it's Ethan Stanley, second on the charge right now. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
And checking the chat right now, admittedly, for the first time, did not have it on for most of the race. And Nacho Colossus saying, I missed it. I wanted the race, but I can't. Unfortunate scenario, but we'll be glad to have you next week at Nashville if you can make it. And right about that, Tank Stand, Realist Fast from Random Acts, a very quick lap right about that. And Dudes Castro Neves came into the chat to say, Greg Moore, looks like he caught it a little quicker than me. Admittedly, the name has slipped my mind. A really great paint scheme. And Kelly Randall asking for a shout out. Well, thank you for being here. And I thank all the viewers who have stopped in to this chat room. 7 concurrent viewers at the moment, and 381 subscribers, the highest this channel has ever been at. And we are going to be going racing once more in Laguna Seca, led by James Thurston for the first time. Second restart. We're crowning the first start actually, so it is the first restart and second start of the night. And looks like it's going to be double file action right now. Stanley on the outside trying to make something work, and Moriarty spins and collects nobody else. Is going to be Castro Neves up a spot following that incident. That's going to put him up to 6th, and Cormetas up to 5th, Movic 4th, Demo still in 3rd, and Ethan Stanley still in 2nd. That outside maneuver not able to work for him. 15 laps to go, halfway point of the race is going to be reached, and it looks like we have another spin or another blowout in the back. That was Ethan Yawn. He keeps it straight, and Mason Moriarty is going to be catching up to him right now. Castro Neves, it looks like he went for 5th. And it looks like Cormetas is really losing time. Big. We're going to get an instant replay on that. And oh, he spun it out. And the rear wing makes contact slightly. He is on his way once more. And now Ethan Stanley 6/10. The gap is for him. Get up to James Thurston at the moment. And Daniel Mosteller losing time once more. These top two have been the class of the field. But Demos, he's had a good run himself. And it looks like Braden Movic is going into the pits again. It looks like something had happened to the 42 machine. We're going to get a checkup on the matter. It doesn't look like anything going through the half-lap portion. The final half-lap of his lap. Nothing at the moment. Looks like he was clear of any incident, but he just brings it in again. Surprising move there from the driver who was in 4th position. But he is in, and now he is out. It looks like Ethan Stanley not able to make anything happen with the dirty air, perhaps. That might be the situation at hand. 14 laps to go, and he's not really clawing back, as it looks like Mason Moriarty going to get it over Michael Cormetas with a damaged rear wing. Castro Neves up to 4th right now. He passed Ethan Yawn. Ethan Yawn up into the top 5 for the first time in this race. But Demos cleared away up in the 3rd position. It would take a little bit of an incident for him to be passed by the Greg Moore throwback machine, the number 34 of Castro Neves and Ethan Yawn. No, that's Alex Anderson 2 laps down. It looks like he's going to slow down the remainder of the field there. And Michael Cormetas a lap down now following the damage he had received. And Mason Moretti going to go very wide there into the gravel, catching all the action. It's going to be a challenge. All these guys are slipping and sliding on this racetrack, but it looks like Ethan Stanley trying to make some ground right now. And you can see that the first 3 cars have peeled away for the pack ever so slightly. Demos even keeping pace with the top 2 right now. He's learning from their line. And it looks like that Alpine machine is on very good pace. And the top 2 are on purple pace. Right now, Ethan Stanley and James Thurston are. They have very good laps going right now. Their best laps are their last, as James Thurston had a 109.555 and Ethan Stanley had a 109.438. That's really good stuff from both drivers. And Demos had a 109.397, so he's really the fastest driver on the track with the fastest lap on those optional tires. Watch out for Demos as this race concludes. 12 laps to go at the moment. It looks like the ticker is going to update shortly. Yellow flag is out. We're going to try to find out what happened. Castro Neves, Yawn, Mavik. All right, Moriarty is not all right. His car seems to have had an incident. Yep. Oh, he just binned it there. And how about that? And he is down and out. Winning contention at the moment. He's going to have a lot of time to tow as the front of the pack is going to come back to start-finish line of this racetrack. See right now the top 2 and actually the top 3, they're really quick. And Demo sets the second fastest lap last time by. Ethan Stanley sets the quickest with a 108.885 compared to Demos' 108.997. The pack is getting closer and closer each lap by. Those are really good laps under the slipstream of the leader of James Thurston. And we'll see if the drivers pit this time by, and if they don't, we're going to get some interviews from drivers behind the top 2 because the order has not changed at the moment. Mason already passed by Alex Anderson, getting his laps back following several incidents tonight. He's trying to make something work for him at the moment. Lap 20 of 30. We are just about 2/3 of the way through. And you can see the Alpine machine rounding out the podium. And we're going to get an interview from Demos first. If these drivers choose not to pit, we will see whether they do or whether they don't. And if they don't, we're going to go through the drivers from 3rd on back because they have gotten the perspectives of the top 2. And I think their feelings have not changed. But the qualifying tires for these drivers have all been the optional tires, perhaps due to the added grip. The option is they wear out a little longer, according to the IndyCar stat sheets. Last I had read them in the primaries, on the top 2 are opposed by the optional that Demos has, trying to get more grip out of it immediately, as we're going to have a short run to the finish now, and the tires are cooling off. And it's going to be a short stint for most of these drivers, even shorter if they do pit. We will see who does and who doesn't going through the corkscrew right now. And James Thurston, if he finishes where he is at the moment, he will lead the points coming out of the second event of the season. We'll see whether or not he can do so tonight. He cannot. Who will get it? Perhaps Cormenis, perhaps even Ethan Stanley, perhaps drivers such as Daniel Mosteller, all drivers who were in the first race. It looks like Mavik's going to go a little wide there, and looks like, whoa, Moriarty on Castro Neves there, and it looks like these drivers are going to go back for their laps. Cormenis and Moriarty are. Now they're on the lead lap as Alex Anderson coming around as well, getting closer and closer to the lead pack. And it looks like it's going to be Stanley and Thurston not pitting, as well as Mosteller, Castro Neves, and Mavik up to 4th. It looks like he's going somewhere. We're not sure where. He's getting slower. And, whoa, Castro Neves and Mavik. Now, not sure if something happened between them beforehand, but that almost looked intentional. I'm not really sure what to make of it. Now, that That's going to ruin Castro Neves' race from 4th on back there. And it looks like the wheel is hardly attached right now. Look at the left front suspension. We're going to focus on it right now, and look at that. Destroyed. It's wobbling around. And not sure if that was intentional. Payback for something before. But Braden Movick has taken it to the pits. Perhaps a penalty awaiting. Whether or not that was a simple mistake, we will see. And we're going to get an interview from the driver who's just in front of that chaos. Daniel Mostello rounding out the podium. It looks like you're getting quicker and quicker each lap. You think you got something for these top 2?
From what I'm hearing from them, I don't get anything. They're on the blacks, and I've heard they're not pushing at all, and I'm on the reds, and I'm trying as hard as I can. But from where I was 40 minutes ago, I literally woke up 5 minutes before this race. So no practice, no qualifying. We jumped right into this, and we're at a podium spot right now, and I think I'm in a pretty good spot for it. I think I'm easily 3rd best car on this track right now. I think if the top 2 tangles, I definitely have a shot at it.
Right over that, we've seen some pretty good moves out of you, getting a 2-for-1 down in the final turn hairpin. Now making up to 3rd, but they could be bluffing you. But it is different tires. Do you think your Reds are going to hold up to the end of the race and perhaps keep up with the soon-to-be pushing Thurston and Stanley?
They definitely should hold up. Alex doesn't require tire changes, so I started this on the Reds, and I ran 13 laps on them before that yellow, and I was pushing really hard to get through lap traffic, or the slower cars. So I think they could definitely hold up. I do not think I will have the pace at the end of the run for Stanley and Thurston, but I have all my push to pass still, so when we restart, I'm going to be ready.
Right to that push to pass, a feature on these Indy cars, and it looks like Demos is going to be ready to push even further. Rounding at the podium right now, we thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Almost dragged myself right there. And we're going to get a look at the incident that happened involving Braden Movick as well as Dudes Castro Neves, and we're going to see what happened there. Now, you were running 4th before that incident. Was that payback for something that happened beforehand, or was that simply just a mistake?
It was just a mistake. I was warming up the tires at the same time looking at the Alpine paint scheme, and I just stopped, and then I suddenly just stopped on track, and I ran into him. But at the moment, I think we can keep it up because we've been running the whole race clean laps. So that fast repair won't really do me much. We have like 9 laps to go, and that's just on me, fully on me.
Yeah, you had good pace up there, good position going for the podium there. You think you can be able to claw back into that spot?
Probably. We're on soft tires now, so hopefully we can do it, actually. I mean, there's a lot of fast drivers today, so.
Right of that, a lot of quick drivers and a lot of drivers on the same tire as you. Now, it looks like you have the newest, so you think that would give you any advantage?
I don't know. I mean, first time on the IndyCar at this track, so we're just going to have to wait to the end.
Certainly a debutant in the IORA Indycar Series, Dudes Castro Neves, and number 34, Greg Moore throwback. Thank you for your time and a great living.
Thank you.
Bring him back into the booth. Right now, we're going to be focusing on the lead pack right now, and Demo said that the top 2 are apparently not pushing, and I find that a little hard to believe given the really quick lap times. There was their almost qualifying times from all 3 of those lead drivers, in course, including Demos. So let's see if the bluff will continue to be called as all the top 3 are in a voice chat right now. Race Room 1 in the IORA Discord. Of course, open to anyone, but a lot of these drivers continuing to stay in the general chat room. In the final turn, the drivers are approaching. It's going to be the second restart of the night, and it's going to be 8 laps to go when the drivers cross the start-finish line. We are green again from Laguna Seca, and it's go time. And it looks like Demo's going to go to the inside right now, trying to make something on Ethan Stanley. If he goes a little too wide, not going to happen this time by. And everyone gets through incident-free. Side by side there for what it looks like 6th position right now. And it looks like the top 2 are going to get away very clean, as there's a battle going on for 6th position involving multiple drivers. Castro Neves in the back of it. Looks like he got a little squirreled out. He was up to 6th, but now down to 8th. As you can see, it looks like it's going to be Ethan Yawn going big time wide, and he's going to get a little bit of damage. When he comes back onto your screen, he is back on the racetrack, maybe just a little bit on that right side, and Ethan Stanley's going to take the point from James Thurston. We're getting an instant replay on that right now. Yup, just got into the gravel, and that is a crucial mistake in the late stages of this event. We're going to throw it back to the live feed, and James Thurston, it looks like Ethan Stanley is going to run away from him right now. But it looks like it's Demos' time to shine, trying to get up into second, and he's right in the slipstream of the 9060 Alpine Haas battle, not just in real-life Formula One, but in the IORA Indycar Series. And it looks like no dive right now, but very close. 3 Formula One schemes are second, third, and fourth at the moment. And you can see the drivers behind very far back. Braden Movick a lap down, and it looks like he's the only driver to be a lap down who is not retired from the event. Joaquin Stewart, who retired 22 laps ago, very far off the leaders at the moment. Retired very early into this event. 7 laps to go as the leaders are getting closer and closer again. It looks like it's going to be James Thurston's time to pounce on the number 91 machine if he's going to do anything with the lead battle. It's a very tight corkscrew entry there. Could have been gone wrong if there was any slight movement. Ethan Stanley does not want to push it too hard once more. If that does happen, it will be very bad for his racing chances. You can see Michael Cormetis gets a little squirrely right there. Alex Anderson and Mason Moriarty fighting for 5th position. They're very close. Let's see what they're going to do as this battle wages on. Daniel Mosteller up into 2nd position. They're side by side for the position. And into the gravel, dirt tracking it almost. He's going to have to give the position back to James Thurston, but the battle here wages on. Alex Anderson up into 5th, though, as this battle is almost side by side as well. See that these drivers are now pushing it to the limit. 6 laps to go, and all these drivers really have to make something happen. They want to get a good spot and good points for this championship. Michael Cormetis on the back bumper of Demos, going to go to the inside, or rather the outside now. Nothing there, and it looks like Demos might be wearing out as Michael Cormetis is really quick as well as him on that optional tire Firestone set. You can see that less than a second between the top 2 drivers right now. Ethan Stanley plowing away, but only just. He spun it in the hairpin, or rather corkscrew. A very tight turn there. If he does that again, it might give it away to James Thurston. With 5 laps to go, it will be detrimental to do so. And it is time to focus all your eyes on the racing. The bottom ticker has been disabled for the time being. And you can see that Ethan Stanley rolling away with this victory, if he can keep it on the racetrack. Daniel Mosteller hunting down James Thurston, the closest battle on the track as is. You can see just about a 4/10 deficit from 3rd to 2nd, and Michael Cormetis is in it as well. Let's go on board with the number 4 machine. It looks like Mason Moriarty and Alex Anderson have swap positions again. It's Alex Anderson into the gravel. Then that might be another position for Ethan Yawn to captivate himself onto, or rather catapult himself onto. A mischoice of words there, but Alex Anderson, not a great night for him. It's gotten a little worse each time by. Wrecked a few, has lost his fast repair, has lost his front wing multiple times, but he's trying to make something of it. Currently in 6th right now as the drivers are going to come over the hill. 4 laps to go for the leaders, and this battle for 2nd position is between 3 cars, and Demos really close right now. Let's see whether or not he chooses to pounce. And you can see almost up to 11,000, actually almost up to 12,000 RPM on the upshifts at the moment. And he's really pushing it almost up to 160. He actually does hit 160 on the telemetry. And Mason Moriarty going to fall back further right now, but the action is in the front of this pack. And oh, James Thurston almost loses it there. Very good save, and it's going to keep him in the running for the victory. And right through the corkscrew, good entry, good exit there, keeping it consistent. as the primary versus optional tire war is waging on. As Alex Anderson looks like he just loses his spot to Ethan Yawn, now in 5th. And Anderson, it looks like something is happening. He's lost multiple spots. He is behind Mason Moriarty. But we're going to put our focus back on this battle for 2nd position. And he almost lets off early. Oh, it looks like he baited Thurston into a mistake there. Really close on the middle of the turn, right into the apex. But nothing comes of it. At the moment, 3 laps to go for all of these drivers trying to make something happen. And almost side by side there, he's within a car length or 2. Alex Anderson, Mason Moriarty going at it themselves. As it looks like Anderson going to be the big loser in this battle. But right now, James Thurston, the big winner, holding off the remainder of the field. As Ethan Stanley getting further and further away from that number 96. And the best lap of the race so far, a 108.721, led by Ethan Stanley in the fast lap charts as well as the race. Good stuff there with Demos having the 2nd fastest lap, a 108.997. The only other drivers, they hit the 108 territory. As Thurston wiggling again, 2 laps to go right now. Ethan Stanley has crossed the line, and so is James Thurston and Daniel Mosteller both coming up the hill right there. Mosteller blocked by Thurston coming up that hill on that angle. And look at that, they're so close right there, almost nose to tail. A little bit of a lockup there for the 87 machine, and Thurston in 2nd right now. Cormenis pouncing if anything does happen. 8 concurrent viewers right now. Appreciate the support, appreciate the viewership, as it's a great night of racing going on. It's been a great one to watch and commentate over. Look at this, these drivers pushing it to the limits. Cormetis getting back into this battle right now. It looks like Cormetis in the gravel the most, and so is James Thurston. And wow, that was a really bad sector for Cormetis. And Daniel Mosteller trying to shoot it onto the inside. Not going to happen. And this 3-car battle is getting closer and closer each time by. Ethan Stanley leading the way cleanly over the remainder of the field. Braden Movick 4 laps down. And oh my goodness! What just happened? It looks like it's been there for a while, that number 42 car. We're trying to find out. You just beach it in there on purpose. Wow. It looks like that is the case. He's been in the fence forever. White flag is out there. We'll worry about that later, as Ethan Stanley is carrying the remainder of the field to the final lap. And look at that. It's going to be Demos getting over James Thurston and Michael Cormetis. Cormetis on the back bumper of the 96. Demos made the pass. Very good stuff there from the 87 machine. Just catching that on the live tape. And looks like Cormetis going to the inside. Side by side right now. James Thurston going to lose another spot. Not without a fight. Battling for the podium right now. 3rd and 4th. And oh, they make contact. It looks like Michael Cormetis going to get away right now. Demos in 2nd clearly. And James Thurston maybe a final lunge here. And he locks it up. He's really pushing right now, trying to get the positions he lost. This might be detrimental to leading the points, as Chase Schaefer is not racing this week's event. Alex Anderson getting just in front of Mason Moriarty right now, but the final lap and the final turn for the winner. He dominated this event almost from flag to flag. Ethan Stanley's going to get it done. 2nd race of the season in the IORA Indycar Series at Laguna Seca. And Daniel Mosteller is going to get 2nd position, followed by Michael Cormetis. James Thurston damaged heavily, and Ethan Yawn going to round out the top 5 if he can just finish this lap out. I think he's going to be able to. No, he spins it! But on the final turn, it's not going to be enough to get past. And Ethan Yawn is going to make it 5th place, despite his spin almost a half minute behind the leaders in Alex Anderson and Mason Moriarty. Alex Anderson spins! And Mason Moriarty is coming as well. And everyone is slowing down right now. Are they going to make a drag race to the line here? And oh, Mason Moriarty has not even taken the checkered flag, and he destroys his car. And Anderson has parked it. Not sure what's going on here. Nobody is making it to the checkered flag. They're turning away from the checkered flag. They haven't finished the race. And it looks like now Anderson's going to take the checkered. Moriarty is not. He's going to be scored a lap down, as well as Dudes Castro Neves and Braden Movick. Very confusing turn of events there, as now Ethan Stanley is making his way towards start finish line. Your winner, the IORA Indycar Laguna Seca Grand Prix. He's gonna burn it down as he should. Great stuff there for the Weathertech OTD machine, the ODT machine. And a dominating victory for the road course ringer of IORA. He's gotten many victories in the IndyCar and Formula One series. Actually, this is his first in the IndyCar series, but first of 2 races only in the series thus far. Already all-time wins leader, tied with Chase Schaefer. Really good work there from that 91 crew. And he gets it done. Burning it down as he should, celebrating rightly so. And he's slowly turning it back on and turning it back off again. Basically, very narrow front stretch to really do burnouts on. And it's over. Now we're going to bring in our race winner. You got by James Thurston, and from there, you just extended the gap. Ethan Stanley, how you feeling after that victory?
I mean, I'm pretty happy about that. Once I got past him, I knew I had the pace just to stay ahead. And mostly it's just conserving the tires and keeping the car on the surface, you know. Absolutely
Kept it on the surface, and that's how you got away. Great stuff there. Now, you do sound like you knew that you had the pace, but at the end of the day, do you think Thurston would hold up a challenge?
I knew Thurston would hold up a challenge, but as soon as I got past him, I grew enough of a gap that he didn't really have to draft anymore. He might have been able, if he was closer to me, he might have been able to send like a move up the inside or something. But yeah, I think I just had the better pace. Honestly, I don't know how long he could have kept attacking if he was behind me.
Absolutely, you did put up the pace, and you absolutely passed them there. And now, next week, we're going to be going to an oval in Nashville Superspeedway. You think you'll do good there?
Oh, Nashville should definitely be fun. I love Indy cars at ovals. A lot better at open wheel racing on ovals than I am at stock car racing. Definitely should be fun. Nashville's a really good track for Indy cars. I'd say better than Indy cars in the Indy cars than in NASCAR.
How about that? We're going to be going there indeed. And it looks like we got some optimistic thoughts from our race winner, Ethan Stanley. And we thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
And we made it all the way up to second position without practice or qualifying. Demos, how you feeling after that battle for second ended up in your favor?
The Reds definitely helped there. Surprisingly, I still had some pace in him, and Thurston, I guess he was lighting the rear tires up a lot, and I had a lot of push to pass, so I knew if I used it in the right spots or in those straightaways, I could definitely get a run off and do something. And he slipped up, and I think it was I don't know what corner. I think it might have been turn 1. He slipped up in and gave. No, it was the final corner coming to the white. That's where I got second, and I guess Thurston and Mikey got into it on the last lap as well. But second, that's pretty good. So I was not expecting that at all entering this race. So we'll definitely take it out of this race, and yeah.
Absolutely, and next week we're going to be going to Nashville Superspeedway. Do we expect to see you there, and do we expect to see a good result from you like we saw tonight?
I won't be there. I will be in Dover for the IRL race. So, yeah, I won't be there.
How about that? Hope you have fun at Dover. It's going to be an exciting race. It's a NASCAR Cup Series and NASCAR Xfinity Series. They are touring there, so hope you have a good time there. Great result here tonight, though. Daniel Mosteller, Demos, second position. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Now dragging back to the race room 1 where he was beforehand, and Michael Cormetis rounding at the podium, 4.20 hundredths of a second off right there. How you feeling after that podium result?
Honestly, I felt like I didn't have the pace for a podium, but made a last lap move going into the kink on Thurston. Some said I should have gave him more room, but it's a racing deal. You gotta do what you gotta do on the last lap for a podium. I mean, yeah, it is what it is, but I'm pretty happy with this result considering I felt like I didn't have the pace for a podium, and yeah, that's about it.
Absolutely getting the podium at the end of the day, in spite of your lack of belief, admittedly. But next week, we're going to be going to an oval Nashville Superspeedway. How do you think you'll do there?
If I can withstand dirty air, then I'll do amazing. Hopefully.
That's great to hear for you. Now, tires, I don't think I asked you about this throughout the race because admittedly you weren't in the podium and I wasn't able to get interviews further than that. We saw a lot of incidents under yellow as well. But tires, do you think they'll affect you at the oval as much as they did in Laguna Seca?
This track had a lot colder tire temperature. It depends on if it's a hot track temperature next race, then I guess tires will wear out a lot more. This race it was pretty hard to get the fronts warmed up, or all the rears and the fronts warmed up, because track temperature was apparently at 97, but it was still like you could not get tires warmed up for like 2 or 3 laps after you put a new set on. So I mean, yeah, it's gonna come down to like what that comes down to. So yeah, hopefully I make the most out of it.
That making the most out of it is what you did tonight as well. Rounding out the podium, Michael Cormenis in the number 4 Red Bull machine. Thank you for your time.
No problem.
And that is going to conclude our podium interviews tonight. We're going to bring out the race results on your screen right now. And as you could see, they are on your screen, and it's Ethan Stanley who's going to win it over Daniel Mosteller by 2.2 seconds. Then Michael Cormenis, James Thurston, and Ethan Yawn rounding out the top 5. Then Alex Anderson, Mason Moriarty 1 lap down, and Dudes Casher Neves a lap down as well. Braden Movick 7 laps down. We saw him stuck at the corkscrew, and Joaquin Stewart 29 laps down does not look like he had taken the grid night, and that is unfortunate, but a great night of racing, a lot of action, a lot of chaos, and a lot of strategy as well along the way. And the points have not updated for the IORA Indycar Series at the moment. We will see when they do, and unfortunately it does not look like they will be able to do so that quickly tonight, so we will have them next week at Nashville Superspeedway, and our next stream will be with the IORA Formula One machines, and that is going to be not at the Oval of Nashville Superspeedway, but it is in fact at Circuit of the Americas for 25 laps. It's going to be a great event like this one was, and we hope that all the viewers, we saw a peak of 11 concurrent tonight, and I thank you all greatly for that. We're going to be back once more. This is going to conclude this broadcast. We thank the viewers for stopping by tonight. It's been a great show. We hope to see you once more again whenever we are on your recommended page. I'm going to leave you with the sounds of Super Burnout right now. I hope you enjoy them as much as I do. Unfortunately, it's not a race, but I think it's the best we can do without one.